You've passed them on the interstate without realizing what you were looking at. A semi-truck where the entire side of the trailer isn't a wall. It's a long, stretched sheet of vinyl pulled taut between the roof and the floor. Not a flatbed. Not a dry van. Something in between that looks, frankly, sketchy. Most Americans glance at it and think the same thing. Why doesn't this guy just use a real trailer? Isn't that asking to get robbed? Now here's the part nobody tells you. That trailer isn't a quirky exception. It's the dominant freight design across Europe, Australia, the UK, and most of Asia. In Britain, you can't drive 10 miles on a motorway without seeing one. In America, you might go a year without noticing one on the highway. And that gap, 27 countries that built their entire freight system around this design versus the one country that spent 40 years pretending it didn't exist, isn't an accident. The answer isn't theft. It isn't weather. It isn't laziness. The real reason connects to something that arrived at your door this week, and a single decision America made in 1945 that locked the country into a freight system the rest of the world didn't build. But to understand why America refused this design for 4 decades, you have to start with what it actually solved. And almost every comparison gets the first part wrong. Here's the obvious answer. A curtain-side trailer is a flatbed with a roof, a front wall, rear doors, and 2 long PVC curtains that slide open like hotel curtains. The curtains hook to a rail at the top, tension to a rail at the bottom with winches at each end, and pull taut, which is exactly where the name Tautliner comes from. The whole side retracts in under 1 minute, exposing the entire deck to a forklift coming in from any angle, side, top, or back. 3 different loading directions on one trailer, and on paper, it is clearly a better design than what America runs. A standard American 53-foot dry van has exactly 1 loading point, the back doors. Everything goes in from the rear and stacks forward. If your delivery is the 3rd pallet from the front, you have to unload the 2 in front of it first. First on, last off. The Tautliner eliminated that limitation in 1969. One British engineer named Gerald Broadbent at a company called Boalloy in a town called Congleton in Cheshire filed UK patent GB1262880A for a curtain system using reinforced PVC-coated polyester, a tensioning winch, and vertical restraint straps that could carry a rated load on the curtain itself. The Australian version of the modern standard requires curtains to deflect no more than 100 millimeters under 0.8 G of force, strong enough to legally act as load restraint on its own. The design was not a tarp. It was not a sheet. It was structural fabric. The trade press would later call it the last, all-new design to enter the global stage. Every trailer architecture before 1969 was binary, either fully open like a flatbed or fully sealed like a box. Boalloy invented the 3rd category. By 1975, Tautliners were being built under license in France, Spain, Belgium, Holland, Austria, Switzerland, Ireland, and South Africa. By 1980, Japan, Australia, and Hong Kong joined the list. By 1986, 2 American companies had also licensed the design. So here's the question that should bother you. If the design was clearly better and globally adopted within a decade, why did America almost completely reject it for the next 40 years? But here's what every engineering comparison gets wrong. The Tautliner did not fail in America because of the design. It failed because America had already built a completely different country to move freight across. Europe and America didn't build the same logistics system. They built 2 parallel worlds with different doors, different floors, different pallets, and different assumptions about where a truck even stops. Start with the pallet. The American standard pallet is the GMA, 48 inches by 40 inches. The European standard is the Euro pallet, 1,200 by 800 millimeters, about 47 by 31 inches. The American pallet is roughly 27% wider than the European one. That difference isn't aesthetic, it's structural. The American 48-inch width was deliberately sized during World War II, so that exactly 2 pallets fit side by side in a 96-inch wide military trailer. Every American trailer, warehouse rack, and forklift built after 1945 was sized around that decision. The Euro pallet was sized to fit through a standard European warehouse door, about 33 inches wide. 2 design constraints, 2 completely different ecosystems. A US 53-foot dry van holds 26 pallets in a single layer. A European articulated lorry holds 33 Euro pallets. They don't even count freight the same way. But the pallet is the small part of this. Here's the bigger one. America industrialized around the loading dock. Every Walmart distribution center, every Costco, every Amazon fulfillment node, every Home Depot, they all share one architectural feature: a long wall of overhead doors built at exactly trailer floor height, usually 48 to 52 inches off the ground. The truck backs in. The trailer floor lines up with the warehouse floor. A forklift drives straight from the warehouse into the trailer. No ramp, no gap, no exposure to weather. A box trailer is the only design that fits this model, because the box trailer was designed for it. Europe never built that. Most European warehouses, urban retailers, and city stores have no dock at all. Every drop is from the side, on the street, with a forklift on the ground. The phrase from Canadine, one of the largest U.S. trailer parts manufacturers, explains everything. They describe curtain sides as born decades ago in Europe, where loading docks are a rarity. That single sentence is the entire story. The Tautliner was not a better trailer. It was a trailer designed for a country without docks. And this connects to something sitting in your kitchen right now, but we will get to that, because here is where it gets genuinely strange. America did try the design, and the same thing happened. In 1986, 2 American trailer companies licensed Beaulieu's patent and started building Tautliners on U.S. soil. In 1988, Utility Trailer Manufacturing, one of the largest trailer builders in North America, based in City of Industry, California, formally introduced the Tautliner to the U.S. market. They marketed it as the world's most heavily patented, curtain-sided convertible van to flatbed system. By 1989, Utility had opened an entire Tautliner production facility in Smith County, Virginia. That plant employs more than 700 people today and is still operating. They committed to the design, and almost nobody bought it. To understand why, you have to look at what the original Tautliner was actually solving. The first commercial customer in Britain was British Sugar. Their reason was not speed. They refused to let traditional tarpaulin sheets touch their food product. The next early adopters were South Yorkshire glass bottle makers, running 6 loads a day to breweries on routes where loading docks did not exist. Tautliners solved problems specific to a country where dock infrastructure was not guaranteed. America had already solved every one of those problems with the dry van. Refrigerated cargo went in reefers. Dry cargo went in dry vans. Lumber went on flatbeds. The Tautliner did not have a category to take over. But the second problem was worse: security. A BSI Supply Chain Services report shows that 86% of all cargo theft involves goods stolen directly from trucks, and curtain slashing is the most common method. Thieves walk up to a parked Tautliner with a box cutter, slice the side, take what they want, and leave. The curtain takes 30 seconds to repair. The cargo is gone in 5. American shippers handling high-value loads, such as electronics, pharmaceuticals, and retail apparel, looked at a curtain-sided trailer and saw a giant fabric vault. The dry van's solid steel walls were not just walls, they were a deterrent. The Tautliner's failure in America was not a rejection of European design. It was a country that had already optimized so completely around its own freight assumptions that there was nothing left for the new design to fix. Therefore, America made a decision that, at the time, looked permanent. The dry van won. The Tautliner shrank into a small niche for lumber, drywall, and construction site deliveries. The Boaloy invention sat dormant in American freight for almost 40 years. But that is exactly why what is happening right now should change how you see every truck on the highway. The American freight system was built on one assumption almost nobody states out loud: every delivery terminates at a dock. That assumption is collapsing in real time, and it's collapsing because of you. Think about where the boxes you order actually go. The Amazon delivery to your apartment building? No dock. The Whole Foods truck dropping 6 pallets at a 1,200 square foot urban grocery store on a side street in Brooklyn? No dock. The Home Depot lumber delivery to a residential construction site? No dock. The package handler making 14 multi-stop deliveries through downtown Chicago at 6 a.m.? No docks. None of these locations have the architecture American freight was designed around, and this is where the system you've been touching every day comes in. In 2018, Utility Trailer Manufacturing partnered with Kynodyne to install a new advanced curtain system called the Kin-Sider as the new standard on utilities Tautliners. Kynodyne's next generation system, the Kin-Slider, opens and closes in 30 seconds, up to 10 times faster than traditional curtain-side systems. It saves drivers 10 to 15 minutes per delivery on multi-stop routes. American manufacturers are now actively retrofitting curtain-side technology onto trailers as short as 10 feet, the size of a box truck, because that is what last-mile e-commerce requires. The dock was the hidden constant America's freight system was built around. Your shopping habits broke that constant. Every delivery to a private residence, a strip mall, a remote job site, an apartment loading zone is a delivery without a dock. That is exactly the freight environment Europe has been operating in since 1969. So here's where you actually land. You pass that curtain-side trailer on the interstate, thinking you were looking at a worse trailer, a weaker design, something American freight had wisely chosen to skip. But what you were actually looking at was a 1969 patent filed in a town called Congleton in Cheshire, England, by a cab designer named Gerald Broadbent. It was the first new trailer architecture invented in the 20th century, a design built for a continent that never had loading docks. The reason America refused it for 4 decades was not that it was bad. America had already built an entire country around an opposite assumption, that every delivery ends at a dock door. That assumption held until your front porch became the most common delivery destination in the country. And now the European trailer is quietly arriving in American fleets because the American freight system is rebuilding itself around the houses, apartments, construction sites, and urban storefronts where docks were never built. You are not just looking at a strange-looking trailer. You are looking at a 56-year-old British engineering decision finally catching up to American shopping behavior. If you think a 4-decade delay on a trailer design is strange, wait until we get into why America still uses the same axle weight system Britain abandoned in the 1960s, and what that single decision is doing to every bridge you have ever driven across.